What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Herb. I'm back with another one. I've been actually trying to plan my first oversized load. This is something that I've been trying to get into for a long time. You know, there's different avenues and stuff like that to get into oversized and over dimension loads and stuff like that. Here at Landstar, we got a specific process where, you know, you go in a step at a time. So when I got here, I started off at SD1. You know, you can't pull no oversized, no nothing. All your loads are legal. You know, you kind of got to work your way into the system and get better and better and better, get more knowledgeable before you're able to pull anything oversized, anything big, any kind of like over width, over dimension, over height, over weight. It's a process for you to be able to get to that point. So I've been here since what, January? Really, I haven't even started pulling flatbed legal loads till like February, by the time I did orientation and everything like that. So I started off in February. I upgraded to SD2 because I fulfilled my SD1 obligations by pulling a certain amount of legal loads and stuff like that. And throughout the whole process, like, I'll be on the load board and I see oversized loads all the time, but I haven't clicked on any of them or even try to book any of those oversized loads because, you know, with oversized loads, there's a lot of hassles that go in with it. You know, you got to get permits, you got to deal with restrictions. Every state has certain curfews. Some of them let you run into the night, some of them don't. It just really depends. It's all based off of the route that you're trying to go through, or, you know, whatever the state's laws is for that specific route. Whether it's a highway or US highway, whatever the case may be, everything has its own set of rules. So I didn't want to just go into it without having the proper knowledge and knowing what the hell I'm, you know, doing, because, you know, here at Landstar, they don't do well with violations. And the last thing I would want is anything on my DAC, PSP, or license, any kind of ticket or whatever the case may be, because I messed up and I didn't know what I was doing. But after careful consideration and looking at certain things and stuff like that, to be honest with you, oversized, that's what the bread and butter is. I've always seen myself doing oversized loads, but, you know, it's something that, you know, you kind of gradually got to go into the process in order to actually be able to do oversized loads. So with careful consideration, I've been looking at certain loads. I passed up on a load last week because it just wasn't paying right, and there was a lot of risks involved for that load, but it just wasn't paying right. So I decided not to do it. However, upon looking on the load board, I stumbled across this load, which I'm about to pick up on Monday. It's a decent run, but, you know, they cover permits, they cover all of that stuff. So one of the first steps of, you know, doing oversized is you got to order permits. They give you the dimensions and you figure out how long the load's going to be, how wide it's going to be, how heavy it's going to be. And then with all that information, it's your job to create a route that you would like to take. You know, you got to check with each state, each governing state along that route that you're trying to take. You got to check with them and make sure like everything is correct as far as, you know, what are their weight restrictions? Do they have like curfews? You know, some states won't allow you to drive past sunset, and if you do, it's a very big fine. So I've accepted the load. They sent me all the dimensions and everything like that. So I got all of that information, and because I'm not gonna be super wide, and the load is really not even heavy at all. It's only, what, 14,500 pounds. So, but the only thing is, it's a wide load. It's wider than normal. You know, on a flatbed, it's 8 feet width. It's pretty much what that is. So it's a pretty wide load, like what, 9 feet 5 inches. I did all my route scoping and everything like that. Now I'm at the part where I got to order the permits. And one of the things they ask you when you order permits is you got to make sure you have all your axle measurements. So I figured out how to do it, and I'm actually doing it right now. It's kind of nigger rigging it, but, you know, that's the only way that I could do it. So when you're pulling oversized, when you're ordering permits, they would like to know from every axle how much space is in between. So this is my drive tires right here. That's my first No, sorry, that's my steer axle. I apologize. And this is my first drive axles right here. They need to know the distance between that first steer axle and your first drive. Then they need to know the distance between your first drive axles to your second drive axles. Then they need to know the distance between your second drive axle and your first trailer axle, and your second trailer axle to your very last trailer axle, which is, I'm running a 48-foot flat, pretty common. It's a Fontaine, nothing special. You know, you got chain tie downs here. In the deck of the trailer, you got 2 wooden posts on each side so you can nail down stuff. I don't quite like these stake pockets because they're not like real authentic actual stake pockets. Fontaine got their own thing going on with those. So, you know, you kind of got to figure that out. Get their own pipe stakes and all of that stuff, but that's just about the trailer. So right now I've already measured the steer axle to the first drive axle. I've measured the first drive axle to the second drive axle. As you can see, I'm measuring now my second drive axle to the first trailer axle, and I kind of messed up. I don't have any longer tape measure. I got a 25 foot, that's a standard tape measure. I should have got like a longer one, but I had this tape measure for a while and I figured I could make it work with what it is instead of having to go out and buy another one. So I haven't really got out and bought another one, but as you can see, you know, it's a little windy out here, and you know, every time I set the tape measure, it kind of like fumbles along with the wind and stuff like that. So I measured it with the tape measure from the center of the axle, and I measured it straight down in a straight line. So I put a pin, I don't know if you can see that pin right there. I put a pin right there in the middle of every axle so I can measure it. So far, I'm already at 25 feet here, and I haven't even got to my first trailer axle yet. So I'm just trying to measure the trailer axles now. And you know, they need, along with that, they need your trailer registration, they need the truck registration, they need to know your DOT numbers, your IFTA numbers, they need to know the measurements, they need to know what routes you're going to take, what states you're going to go through, etc., etc. And that's pretty much how you order your permit. I deal with I'm a part of like the Landstar Online, the Facebook groups and stuff like that, and those guys in there, shouts out to those guys because they give really good information. You know, this is my first time, let alone being in flatbed. Well, I've been in flatbed since, you know, February, but this is my first time actually, you know, taking this step and going and proceeding to go with like the oversized loads or whatever the case may be. This would be my first oversized load. So like I said, I've already scoped out the routes, I've already scoped everything out. Now I'm just measuring the axles so I can order the permits, so the permits could be here sometime today, so that come Monday, I'm ready to roll. Grab my load, secure it, take it to whatever destination needs to be. And I actually got another load from the same shipper coming back down to where I'm picking up the load from. So, which I'm gonna have to order permits for that as well. But good thing about it is, once you order permits, they store all your axle information, your axle configuration, your trailer information, your truck information. They store all that information in their system. So next time you do need to order permits, if you're going along with the same permit company, because they got a couple of, from my understanding, a lot of people told me not to use ComData, to use WCS if I'm not mistaken, or WSC or something like that. But I went ahead and called them, and the person that I spoke to, she was very knowledgeable and told me what I need to get in order to order the permits, like what she needs from her side in order for me to order the permit. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I guess once you order permits the first time, they store your information in. Have you run across another oversized load, they have your information. So all you pretty much got to do is scope out your route, figure what your restrictions are and everything like that. And I heard that they also give you that information as well. They'll go through everything with you before they finalize all the permits and send everything off, so that way the states can come and send back your actual documentation, which then you would print out and keep as well with the documentation of the load. And you just basically follow every state's procedures. So right now I'm just over here just measuring out my axles so I can send in that information. I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find no actual videos where I could actually find, you know, okay, like here, you know, this person measures their axles this way or whatever the case may be. But you know, measuring is pretty self-explanatory for the most part. So if you're gonna measure, you're just gonna pretty much measure. This is my first oversized load. I'll be guiding y'all along the way. I'll take y'all with me. So that way, you know, just in case in the future anybody else would like to or whatever the case may be, you know, at least then you would know, you could kind of watch this video and get an idea, or you could reach out to me and I could, you know, help you out as much as I can. I'm always willing to pass on the information. You know, the trucking game, it's a very big business. It's a very big community. And you know, if you could spread out the information, especially if you know it, why not? You know, I'm always willing to help out a fellow driver. But golly, look at how tall this trailer is. I never sat there and realized how tall a flatbed trailer is. Like, I'm literally on the deck of the trailer. I'm like 6'3". I'm literally at the deck of the trailer, like literally. Like, this thing is tall. Like, if I turn it on, like, this trailer is fucking tall as hell. But yep. Like I said, I will be taking y'all along the way with me. Yeah, I could go through my first oversized journey with me and pretty much see it for what it is.